mais plus tard. Et ils vont jouer de la belle musique. De la musique qui est bien sûr Cajun, mais un différent style, certainement, par rapport que c'est de la musique violon, plutôt de l'accordéon. Et on va faire ça, droit à cette heure. Si vous voulez, mes amis, would you please make welcome Hadley Castille, I'll say, and his friends.
Steel guitar.
Monsieur Hadley Castille, au violon. Hadley, c'est bon de te voir encore, mon cher. C'est bon de te voir. Écoute, je croyais peut-être que tu aurais été au Québec ou Saint-Boniface ou quelque chose comme ça, dans le pays du Nord. Tu es toujours ici.
On a sauté ton nez.
Ah ouais?
C'est trop frais là-bas.
Ben,
c'est trop fait pour un vieux corps.
Ça se fait, tu vas pas au Québec?
Well, we were there last year.
Yeah.
So we
You're going to stay home this year?
Yeah, go every other year now.
Hadley, I'm so... je suis ravi que tu vas honorer le défunt Harry Schultz. C'est un morceau de musique qu'il a nommé quoi, ça?
La valse de Grand Basile.
Vraiment?
Vraiment.
Non, mais la première que tu viens de jouer, là.
Oh, la première. Excusez-moi.
La première que
La
tu viens de
première,
jouer.
c'était Rubber Dolly.
C'est une vieille chanson anglo-américaine.
Et puis là, le deuxième morceau, on a mis deux ensemble. Le deuxième, c'était le pompon.
Ah oui?
C'était le vieux Bear Creek Hop, il a mis ça ensemble. Ça fait, yeah.
Juste un petit peu de ceux de vous qui n'êtes pas avec nous. Just a little bit about this great musician that lived and recorded and is a hero in Cajun music today, the late Harry Schultz. The late Harry, I'm told, Hadley, that he never owned a fiddle of his own. Is that true?
Well, he owned it for a little while, maybe a week
Well,
or
he
two.
borrowed it and never returned it
No,
No, that's not true.
I think Jolie Blanc was recorded on a borrowed fiddle.
on a borrowed fiddle.
Mr. J.D.
You hear
Miller
a lot of
told-
things.
Oh, there's many great stories about him. And I'm very happy to be here with these wonderful musicians
Yes.
to help us relive his music tonight. And y'all going to have a great time, y'all. We're just starting.
Just started.
Yeah.
We're going to introduce you to these musicians in just a little bit. Mais, donc, Hadley a mentionné une belle vieille valse, bien sûr, qui est un classique de la musique cajun. Et il va la jouer à cette heure. Si tu veux, Hadley, la valse de Grand Basile.
Oh, chérie, les citoyens, ha ha, nous autres, il aime autant, mais la maison. Elle joint, chérie, samedi soir. Elle joint le samedi soir, dans Grand Basile. All right, Mr. Terry Newbold. Ha ha. Ha ha. Eh, chérie, ça fait pitié. Pour partir d'aussi loin de Grand Basile. Eh, chérie, pas du gré. Tu vas revenir à Grand Basile à pépeler. All right, David. Uh-huh. C'était David qui nous met au piano. Uh-huh.
Grand Basile. The music of Harry Schultz with Mr. Hadley Castille. And I'm going to mention the musicians. I want to introduce you to these very fine musicians now. there are three different groups represented this evening on stage. From the group Filet, from the group Jambalaya, and Hadley Castile and his band. David Egan on keyboard, ladies and gentlemen. And Mr. Peter Stevens on drums. And Mr. Kevin Shearing on bass. Mr. Dejalma Garnier on banjo this evening. Mr. Garnier is also a very fine Creole fiddler, I'd like to mention. Mr. Terry Uval on steel guitar. And Mr. Uval is also a very fine fiddler. Blake Castile on guitar. Mr. Blake Castile. And Mr. Hadley Castile, fiddle. The music of Harry Schultz. I don't have the legend of Harry Schultz before me, but he started at a very young age as a fiddle player, became a flaming star, a very bright star, very short life. He died very young in Texas. But he left a legacy of beautiful music, and we're very, very fortunate to have within the realms of Cajun music a musician like Hadley who is interested in the style of the great Harry Schultz, and you have it right here tonight on this stage. Hadley Castile and his friends. Make them welcome one more time, won't you please?
Changer ton nom, on va t'appeler un homme canaille comme moi. Tu t'es trop mignonne pour faire la criminelle. Fais-toi t'es comme ça, oh mais malido. Hey, Mr. Steel Guitar Man. Aha. Oh Michel Mia, eh ben je connais, chérie ça me fait pitié, oh ça me fait pitié, oh Michel tu fais, ah ah, David, non le Lafayette David.
Ben ouais.
Merci.
Mais sans Hadley, c'est connu comme une vieille classique, bien sûr. Allons à Lafayette. For those of you who don't know, and most of you sitting in this audience that's familiar with Cajun music know that that's the first piece of music that came out on records in 1928 by the late Joe Falcon for Victor Records. That was the first piece of music that Cajuns ever heard on vinyl, Allons à Lafayette. And that was the way that the late Harry Schultz played it. This next song, Hadley, has a story to it, I suppose. And, you know, it's amazing. Cajuns love the diatonic accordion. They love that accordion. But there are certain pieces of music that has been recorded with fiddle as lead that has always been in the spotlight, and that's one of them. And I don't know why. It's beautiful the way he rearranged this very old Cajun standard that was recorded many, many years ago called Ma Blonde est partie, and he called it Jolie Blonde. And it came out when? When did it come out?
1946, April the 4th.
1946.
Pete and I didn't rehearse this at all. He's on the same wavelength as I am. So,
in 1946, and he recorded it in
1946,
Texas? He recorded it in Texas, did he?
Right, and he recorded with a band from Oklahoma.
Was it called Gold Star Records?
Gold Band or something.
Was it
Gold
Eddie
Star,
Shoulder?
maybe?
No, it was Gold. It wasn't
Gold
Eddie
Star,
Shoulder.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was in Houston, and the song broke in Houston, and of course, they went on to sell a million copies back in 46, 47.
And it's amazing, even today, during my programs, we have a copy of this original recording, thanks to Dr. Ancelet. And we still get requests for. And they want the original Harry Schultz, Jolie Blonde. It's a phenomenon, isn't it?
We could talk about how what makes it happen the way it does, but I'd rather play.
We don't know.
I'd rather play than talk.
Well, we're going to listen to it then. And Hadley's going to play it exactly like Harry Schultz, won't you, Hadley?
Not exactly.
Oh, come on. Yes, you will. Jolie Blonde, ladies and gentlemen. La Jolie Blonde. La musique de Hadley Castille au violon. On aurait la musique du défunt Harry Schultz. Et je ne sais pas quand il est mort, je ne me rappelle pas Hadley, mais il est mort au
Il est mort en
Texas,
50. Il est mort en 50 dans une prison à Austin.
une prison à Austin. Et la raison qu'il était en prison, ce n'était pas par rapport qu'il avait fait quelque chose de désastre ou maudit, c'était child support payments. And that's why he was arrested. And he died that night, and nobody knows why. There has never been found a reason as to why he died. We know that he was a heavy drinker, so maybe that had some contribution to his death. We don't know. But he left behind a legacy of wonderful music. This, maybe when I hear it, I'll remember it, but I don't know what honky-tonk blues is. I'm not familiar with it.
Well, you know it, Pete, but people would write the wrong names on the, you know, on the labels. So
It's
this is really
the boogie woogie.
That's the old honky tonk faire le boogie woogie.
We-
Sure, you know it. Yeah.
I'll bring something else up after you play this piece. It's called the Boogie Woogie, Honky Tonk Blues. And Hadley's going to play it for us if he can get his feet out of that chord.
Tu m'as laissé pour t'en aller mais aussi loin. Fais le boogie woogie, fais le boogie woogie, fais le boogie woogie, fais le boogie woogie. Tu fais le boogie woogie et tu fais ça comme ça. Du honky tonk ici, du honky tonk là-bas, du honky tonk, du honky tonk, du honky tonk, tout en devrait faire le boogie woogie. Terry Duval and together. Honky tonk ici, di honky tonk là-bas, di honky tonk, di honky tonk, di honky tonk, tout en devrait faire les boogie woogie. Fais les boogie woogie, fais les boogie woogie, fais les boogie woogie. Tu fais le boogie woogie et tu fais ça comme ça. Tu m'as laissé, vous en allez mais ça aussi. Fais le boogie woogie, fais les boogie woogie. Fais le boogie woogie, fais le boogie woogie, fais le boogie woogie.
Le boogie woogie. Mais Hadley, est-ce que il y a, you know, I don't like to label, and I was told that many years ago, please don't try to label Cajun music because it's a blend of many things. He was popular during the time, after the Second World War, where Western swing came in, and perhaps that's the reason. But what would you say this style of music is? It's a blend of Western swing or what?
I was asked that this afternoon,
Yeah.
Pete, and Blake said, Dad, I believe you were not too sure how you were going to describe
Yeah.
that. It's pretty difficult to describe the way a guy plays when he's a genius, you know.
And is it fair to try to
Yes, you know,
classify
so it's
it?
not really fair, but maybe Blake can shed some light on.
Huh?
He's quite a bit younger than me.
Yeah. You want to say something?
Hey, Pete.
Hi there.
Well, basically, it was Texas string band music with a mixture of the Cajun two-step, the Cajun waltz, but it was that swing feel that you know, that
Yeah.
every time that foot comes down, it's a little slow. Then you shake a little bit, comes down again. It just makes you kind of want to glide across the floor. And they left it without the accordion too. It left a little bit more room for the other instruments to improvise a bit, because the accordion is, you know, it's like a little box, and without the accordion you can play outside the box. If that makes any sense at all?
Let's demonstrate a little bit on what I think is probably the most beautiful of all recordings that he ever made besides Joe LeBlanc. And it's called Louisiana.
c'est... Est-ce que je suis là? La valse de la Louisiane. La valse de la Louisiane. C'est une belle valse, Hadley, t'as raison. Une beaucoup belle valse. La musique de Harry Schultz avec Hadley Castille et ses musiciens. Ce soir, sur scène, au Théâtre Liberté à Yunis, on est ici jusqu'à 8 heures. Et j'aimerais mentionner que samedi prochain, c'est Danny Brossard et ses Étoiles de Louisiane. Corey McCauley. Corey est là ce soir, il a prédansé avec sa femme, hein, Hadley, on a vu Corey. Corey McCauley. Hello Corey, comment ça va? Il est assis ce soir, il sera ici la semaine prochaine aussi. La famille Huvel, les frères et sœurs, sera ici pour présenter leur musique ici sur scène. Hadley Castille et ses musiciens pour honorer la musique du défunt Harry Schultz, la musique de les 1940-1950. Et c'est bien de t'avoir ici ce soir, Hadley.
Merci, Pete.
C'est joli, c'est magnifique.
C'est un honneur d'être capable de faire ça.
Oui.
Pas souvent c'est fait. Établir la musique de le gros violonneux comme le fait Harry.
Oui.
Harry used to play in L'Hotel, Louisiana. I want to make mention this on account of my one ami, Curtis Joubert. Curtis, there were two clubs in L'Hotel. Of course, he was, I think, living in Basile at that time. I'm talking about Harry. And there were two clubs in L'Hotel. One was the Step In Club, and the other one was the Green Lantern. And Mr. Joubert, Curtis's brother, was Mr. Van was the owner. And there was a little competition going on between the two clubs, you know. But he had one Saturday night, he got a chance to get Harry Schultz there. And of course, the one club that had the other band, after about a half an hour, they were all over.
At the club where Harry was,
and,
yeah.
So that tells you, the same thing happened in Corpus Christi, Texas. Except it was the great Hank Thompson who was playing down the street from him.
And he wiped out Hank Thompson?
Everybody went to listen to Harry.
How?
But anyway, we're going to get Terry, we'll ask Terry rather, to sing this one. This was one of his big songs on Ghost Star. Le pauvre hobo, t'es pas arrêté, Terry?
Pas arrêté, hein? Pas tu es sur mes pieds, ça fait pitié.
Le pauvre beau.
Merci.
Une vieille chanson recordée avec un accordéon des années passées, bien sûr, et c'est un de les classiques de la musique cajun. Et je pense que Harry a recordé la plupart de les classiques de la musique cajun, je m'imagine. Je vois par ta liste ici qu'on reconnaît plusieurs qui est rendu classique de la musique cajun, et c'est ça qu'il a fait la plupart du temps. Est-ce que, did he ever compose a song of his own that was one of his own? Never, not that you know of. Well, it didn't matter, did it, Hadley? If he did or not, as far as
He rearranged a lot of them.
he rearranged a lot of them.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, this is an old standard in, would you say bluegrass? No? Dragging the Bow, would that be bluegrass? This next piece of music? Would it be? Would it be bluegrass in the category of bluegrass? Dragging the Bow, is that a
No,
bluegrass
not at
tune?
all.
It is not.
Well,
No.
it may have come out of the Appalachian, but once it got to Texas, it swung.
Aha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have anybody from Texas?
Oh, please, yes. There certainly
Yeah.
is.
This is almost more of a ragtime feel, Pete. Kind of a, you can go back to about the 30s.
Really?
Say Dajama.
Huh? More of a ragtime, you would say. Well, this is Dragging the Bow. Hadley Castillo. Ouais. Many years ago, when Hadley was just a toddler, picking cotton on his father's farm, they would send him for water. And after a while, over the cotton fields came the sound of a fiddle. And they were not getting any water, but they were getting serenaded. Hadley was practicing the fiddle. True story, huh, Hadley? So, it's not since yesterday that Hadley put this fiddle under his chin. And such a beautiful job. Did they ever get their water?
Dans le vieux ton, la première, ça, tu parlais pas.
Oui.
Je pu me boire un petit filet d'eau, là. Je t'avais pas compris.
Je dis, quand tu étais beaucoup jeune, ça t'envoyait, quand tu étais sur la ferme de ton père pour aller chercher de l'eau. Et plutôt de l'eau, d'un coup, ça attendait le violon. Plutôt de l'eau, c'était le violon.
On allait au moulin à maillis, là-bas c'est les 10 puits. Et puis, étant prêt à jouer Harry Shaw dessus le jukebox.
Oui.
Dans la barre, tu connais, quand on était trop jeune pour entrer dans la barre, ça fait on se mettait des on a des fois c'était dans la plume. C'est heures de temps à écouter.
Écoutez Harry.
Un après l'autre, un après l'autre.
En revoir, une valse, si tu veux. Ça, c'est une valse du Texas. C'est la valse du pourrature, mes amis.
Aujourd'hui, tu m'as laissé l'eau pour la tour. Et Mia, toi, je rappelle mes mots tout seul. Oui, chérie, tu peux pleurer pour la tour. All right, Mr. Terry.
Belle valse, la valse du Pour Arthur, et c'est pas surprenant que le défunt Harry a reconnu si tellement le Texas parce qu'il a, il a passé la partie de sa vie, sa courte vie au Texas, bien sûr. Et c'est normal qu'il aurait recordé des chansons avec des titres qui représentent le Texas. C'est normal, après tout. Il est enterré où, Hadley? Et où est-ce que c'est là? Et où est-ce que c'est il est enterré, Hadley? Ouais.
Je suis en Pour Arthur.
Au Pour Arthur.
Oui.
Pour Arthur.
Ils ont pu ramasser de l'argent pour l'enterrer.
Et il y a un monument là,
bien sûr,
aujourd'hui,
ouais.
du défunt Harry Schultz.
Pete, en parlant de ça, j'ai juste conféré avec l'orchestre là.
Oui.
On a décidé on va faire une des plus vieilles chansons que moi je connais de la musique Cajun, le style à Harry. Et c'est appelé J'ai passé devant ta porte.
Oh, vraiment? Je ne connaissais pas qu'il l'avait recordé.
Il a fait ça.
OK.
J'ai passé devant la porte, j'ai crié papa à la veuve. Il n'y a personne qui m'a répondu. Oh yeah, yeah, quand Terry, fais-moi un petit brandy. All right. J'ai passé devant ma porte et j'ai vu des chandelles allumées. Il y a quelque chose qui m'a dit j'aurais pleuré ce soir. Oh yeah, yeah. David, tu es là? Merci.
qui nous dit l'origine française. Et c'est devenu, bien sûr, un classique de la musique cajun. À en voir, Hadley. Tu as un autre listé ici. Je crois qu'on a le temps pour un autre et peut-être une moitié d'un autre si tu veux. Et si tu veux... Oh, excusez-moi. Si tu veux, c'est Grand Mamou. Moi, je veux. Moi, je veux. Allons le faire.
Cher bébé, me le à soir. Eh, ha, ha. Oh, mia. Oh, mais viens me joindre à grand-maman. Eh, eh.
Bravo!